Did you know that in every supermarket you will find kosher food, and most probably you are eating kosher food every week without knowing it? And this is why today I'm so excited, because I will bring you along to show you what to look for to find kosher food in your local non-Jewish grocery store, and at the same time I will be debunking myth and clarifying misconceptions about kosher food with me, a real Orthodox Jew. And if you're new here, hi, my name is Sara Malka, and on my channel I share all facets of my Orthodox Sephardic Jewish life as a full-time working mom with small kiddos. So please don't forget to leave this video a big thumbs up and subscribe to our channel. Let me put on a pretty tichel and let's jump into it. While we are driving to the grocery store, let me share with you really quickly the 7 general laws we follow as Orthodox Jews for a food to be considered kosher. And as a reference, all the laws are found in the Torah, and I will leave a link in the description box below with the exact passages and books where you can find them. And here are our 7 laws. We do not mix meat and milk together. We do not mix meat and fish together. Seafood and shellfish are no-go, as well as reptiles. We do not eat bugs. We only eat fish with removable scales and fins, so no eels or sharks for us. We only eat meat from kosher animals, which means an animal that chew its cud and have complete split hooves, and also that meat has to be processed in a kosher way by a shochet, a person who specializes in handling the animal to produce kosher meat. We do not eat predatory and scavenger birds as well. As a bonus for many of our Sephardic Orthodox Jews, we have another rule. We do not mix milk and fish together. Now that we reviewed the basics about what is defined as a kosher food, let's go in this store we only visit once every few weeks because it is about a 30 minutes drive from our home, but we still love going there because the prices are so amazing and most of their produce are locally grown, which is always a big plus for us. I also chose this store today because there is no Jewish community around here, so this grocery store is quite representative of every and any supermarket found around the world. The first item you will buy for sure every week that is kosher are fruits and vegetables, as all fruits and veggies are potentially kosher. I say potentially because not all fruits and veggies can be eaten as is. The issue with certain food like raspberries, blackberries, broccoli, and Brussels sprouts, just to name a few examples, is that the leaves or outer layers are easily accessed by the insects and they can easily hide in them or between them, and therefore these fruits and veggies are often infested with insects. Let me show you with the broccoli florets. I have washed and soaked this broccoli and there is still some insect left inside. As you can see, the insects are often very small and can hide very easily, especially worms that dig themselves into the branches of the broccoli, for example. This is why we avoid eating fruits and veggies like the one previously mentioned, as there is a high chance we will eat an insect even after soaking and cleaning them. So as a general rule, we do not eat these problematic fruits and veggies raw unless they were cultivated in very special conditions, meaning in a bug-free environment with special care. Brands like Bodek, Began, and Pardes will have fresh and frozen problematic fruits and veggies available for us like broccoli, berries, and other fruits and veggies. And all of them will be bug-free. On a side note, you would be surprised how many insects we find in everyday food. I made a complete video about it and I will leave the link in the description box below and the link above for you to be able to watch after this video. Before we continue our visit, I have to explain to you these funny symbols found on many food in your grocery store. These are called Hershers or kosher certifications. The Hersher is a symbol that certifies that the food does not break any of the 7 major kosher laws, and also that the mashgiach or supervisor was actually in the food plant and made sure the ingredients used are kosher, and also that the surfaces where the food was produced produced were cleaned and devoided of any non-kosher products or substances. So the mashkiach will clean the surfaces with special soaps before any kosher food will be produced. The most reputable and frequent kosher symbols in the USA and Canada are OU, OK, MK, COR, CRC, KUF-K, and star K. But not all kosher symbols are reputable, and believe it or not, there is a big counterfeiting of kosher symbols, especially on products from China, Thailand, and India. Some companies created their own certification like this one. And of course, none of them are a valid kosher certification. Other companies will go as far as to add real kosher certification on their non-kosher product, like for example this ham and cheese roll that has a tablet K certification, and this ham steak that has an OU certification, which of course is a counterfeit. To know what are the most reliable kosher certifications, we go on kosherquest.org. This amazing site gives us a list of all the kosher certifications we can rely on from around the world, whether from the USA, Canada, Europe, and beyond. It also gives out kosher alerts informing us of all the products that bear an unauthorized kosher symbol or has any issue. I will have the link to this site in the description box below. So in a nutshell, for any processed food, a kosher symbol is necessary to assure that it is kosher. Now that we know what makes a food kosher and what is a kosher certification, let's see how many kosher food we can find in this non-kosher grocery. For bread, because a lot of time there will be margarine and other highly processed ingredients found in the ingredient list, the bread need to be certified kosher, and you would be surprised how many breads are kosher in your local supermarket. Here, almost all of the bread were kosher. As a super bonus, even some of the cakes and donuts were kosher too, but they were almost all dairy and therefore could not be part of a meat meal. Another food you are most probably buying and unknowingly to you is kosher is fresh fish. Any fresh fish that is sold complete or whole in a store where you can see the scales and fins and you recognize the fish as being part of the kosher fish, like salmon, tuna, can be bought from a non-kosher store if it is bought once again whole or uncut with scales and fins. Usually as Orthodox Jews, we do have kosher fish stores. This way we can have the fish already prepared in steaks, mince, so on and so forth, which offers us more options. But any fish that is processed, like frozen fish, canned tuna, or prepared fish, will need to have a kosher certification, as a lot of time the kosher fish will be processed in or on the same production line as non-kosher fish, and also, like in this case, will be mixed with milk derivatives or simply non-kosher food. As per the meat, unless there is a kosher section in the supermarket, no meat will be kosher, even if it comes from kosher animals, because for meat to be kosher, it has to be processed in a specific kosher way. You would be surprised how many times groceries will try to sell kosher meat products, like in this store in the USA, where they wrote on some ham packages that they were kosher Bet Yosef, which is the highest level of kashrut or kosher certification in meat. For prepared meat products, the rule stays the same. No meat product can be considered kosher unless they have a kosher certification on it, as often, even if the front label of the product does not say there could be an issue with mixing meat and another problematic ingredient, when you look closely at the ingredient list, we often found milk hidden in the ingredient list, like in this meat pocket, or this tempura chicken, which of course would render the items non-kosher. Another frequent misconception about kosher food is that halal and kosher certifications are the same and interchangeable, but they are not. We have different dietary laws. For food to be kosher, once again, it really needs to have a kosher certification for any food that is processed. This will bring us to another myth surrounding kosher food that I often hear. Of course, Sarah, I hear, I keep kosher. I simply read the ingredient list, and if I do not see any non-kosher ingredient, for me, it is kosher. And of course, that is absolutely untrue. And I will show you many examples throughout our visit here, but here is our first one. If I take this box of Jell-O, when you read the ingredients, you see that there is sugar, gelatin, adipic acid, sodium citrate, sodium phosphate, flavor, and colors. So technically, you do not see any animal products or any ingredients breaking one of the 7 main Jewish food laws, but when we take a closer look at the ingredients individually and look up on the Jell-O website and type in gelatin in the frequently asked question, we will see that the origin of the gelatin is mostly from pork and more specifically from pork skin. So that is a big no-no for sure as Orthodox Jews, making this Jell-O not kosher. And therefore, as a general rule, when you see gelatin in the ingredient list, chances are it is coming from an animal source and mostly pork, like you can see on this pack of marshmallows. Maybe you're asking yourself, how can Orthodox Jews eat dessert made with gelatin if gelatin is usually made from animal products? And we can eat gelatin-based dessert because kosher gelatin is usually made from fish or non-animal products like here, where the gelatin has been replaced by carrageenan. Another item you most probably use that is kosher is pure coffee or pure tea, because when they are in their purest form, so no added sugar or ingredients, then it's kosher even without a kosher certification. But as soon as you find additive in them, then we need a kosher certification. If you're curious and you're wondering what does the P mean next to the kosher certification, it means that that product can be used on Passover. So not only does it respect the 7 general laws of kosher, but it also follows the laws that are necessary to make it kosher for Passover. So it does not contain any of the 5 forbidden grains that we cannot use on Passover. For the cheese, many soft cheeses found in non-kosher stores are certified kosher, like these cream cheese that are MK or Montreal kosher. And the reason that not all cheeses are kosher is that to make the cheese set or firm up, they need to use an enzyme called rennet, and this rennet is often sourced from animal products. And a fun fact is this cream cheese, even though it is certified kosher, would be okay to be eaten by our Ashkenazi brothers, but for us Sephardic Jews, we could not eat it as it contains milk and fish together. For the eggs, which is another item you eat that is kosher, as long as the eggs are from a kosher animal, it is considered as being kosher. But for any processed egg products like these egg whites or like this full egg mix, this would need a kosher certification. For milk, because nowadays there are vitamins added to the milk, it needs to bear a kosher certification. Most milks found in supermarkets are kosher, and obviously dairy. On a side note, I'm sure many of you are going to be very surprised to learn that many plant-based milk, creamers, and whipped toppings have a dairy status, not because they are considered as coming from a cow and being purely dairy, but because many plant-based products are produced in machines that handle milk too, so they are categorized as dairy due to the cross-contamination, and therefore for us Orthodox Jews, we could not use these creamers during a meat meal. For the pasta or partially boiled or parboiled rice, they need a kosher certification as they have been processed. But plain non-cooked rice technically does not need a kosher certification. The same holds true for dried legumes with no additives. They can technically be used as is. But to be honest, most Orthodox Jews will buy all their products with a kosher certification just to be on the safe side. For the oils, most of the oils will need a kosher certification because they are heavily processed, especially canola oil, corn oil, vegetable oil. But here is a fun fact. Any cold-pressed, pure virgin olive oil are kosher even without the kosher certification. Next, let's talk drinks. And that will be another item you most probably consume frequently that is kosher without you knowing it. And these are bottled spring water like Evian, sparkling waters, and also soft drinks produced by very big companies like Coca-Cola. All of them are generally kosher. On a side note, more local or artisanal products often will not have a kosher certification as they use more elaborate ingredients which are often non-kosher. For the treats, whether chips, nuts, popcorn, and chocolate, usually they will be kosher, but unfortunately, most of the candies, and especially soft candies, will not be kosher because most of the soft candies are made with gelatin. And as we saw before, if there's gelatin in it, we have to assume it is sourced from a non-kosher animal, and more product will show the source of the gelatin, like in these jujubes, where they clearly state that the gelatin is sourced from pork. In the frozen aisle, for the frozen fruits, many of them will be kosher. But for the vegetables, many of them will not be kosher because part of the preparation for the freezing process for the vegetables is to blanch them in starchy water, and many times the pots and pans will not be kosher. Therefore, making the final product non-kosher, even if it is, like here, only peas and carrots. I would love to know, what was something new that you've learned about kosher laws or kosher food? Let me know in the comments below. Thank you so much for being here. It means the world to me. And know that in my book, you are my favorite kosher treat, being able to spend some time with you. And if you're here until the end, please write in the comments, I love to learn. So I know I was not alone. And as a gentle reminder, if nobody told you today, know that you are loved and you are enough just the way you are. Until next time, stay safe, stay blessed, and don't forget to frum it up.
With your head on my chest,